All right. So good morning, everyone. My name is Mahesh, and I am going to be your trainer for this program. So this is the very first batch on 23. But let me just give a little brief about myself. So I have total 14 years of experience in Pega and have been providing training on various courses of Pega for almost 9 years. If we talk about the CLSA alone, close to 7.5 years of experience in providing Pega LSA training. And this should be someone close to my 18th batch actually. So that's a little brief about me. Let's talk about this program. So you guys might be aware that Pega 8 is retiring in June. And from July onward, if you are going to attempt Pega CLSA certification, so that's going to be Pega CLSA version 23. So next, whenever you are ready to basically acquire your certification and go through the exam process, you will be probably looking at Pega 23. This program is basically going to cover the part 1 as well as part 2. So we will cover the theoretical part, and then we will cover extensively the second part, which is phase 1 and phase 2 of app building, right? So design and build, and most of the focus is going to be on that part only. How do we go about the design? That is the most critical part, and then how we go about the build. This program is a 60-hour training program. So we are going to have a couple of hours every day, Monday to Friday. There will be total 30 sessions. So roughly it should take 1.5 months to complete. You guys will be given access to all the material that I will be using to conduct this program. So you will have access to that. And every session will be recorded, and recording will be accessible to you guys as well. The timing, of course, is 6:30 a.m. IST to 8:30 a.m. IST. That's about the program. Any question you guys have? I will talk more about the certification first, how it is structured, how we approach it, what are the passing mark and anything. But any question on the structure of this program training? Okay. All right, so let's talk about the CLSA program. 1 second, please. Today is May on the side. Okay. So in order to acquire the CLSA, obviously, prerequisite is that you should have CSA and CSSA certifications. Now, these certifications can be in any version. It's not necessarily should be in Pega 8 or Pega 23. No. CSA, CSSA can be in any version. That's the basic prerequisite in order to appear for the Pega CLSA. Okay. Then comes the part 1. See, officially there is no part 1 and part 2. This is something that we use in our regular conversation, but officially there is nothing called as part 1 or part 2. The part 1 that we refer is called CLSA architecture exam. So CLSA architecture exam is basically similar to, I mean, in the format, it is similar to the CSA, CSSA, which means that you will have to register yourself on Pearson Avenue website, and that's where you will get this done. It's a 60 question exam, and you will have to acquire 65% plus in order to pass. Now, this is in the format, it is similar to the CSA and CSSA, but difficulty level is obviously different. Okay. This is more focused on the scenario based. This is more focused on your analytical skill than just straightforward questions like what to use if you want to save the data page, save the data in a table. An option will be activity, data pages, and blah blah blah. So it will be more complex than that. Okay. The timing differs basically. Sometime non-English speaking people gets 30-minute extra. So do check that on the Pearson website. What's the current timing they are giving? But typically it is 2 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours test. I will cover this CLSA architecture exam because it's a theory based, right? And it is strictly based on the it is strictly based on the curriculum that they publish on the Mission, right? Academy. Okay. So I will cover each and every aspect of this. 1 second, please. Okay. So that is what we call as part 1. Okay. Now next comes the part 2, which is the CLSA app build. Now CLSA app build is divided into 2 phases, page 1 and page 2. Page 1 is your app design and page 2 is your app build. So this actually keeps on changing over the period of time, but current format is that in the app design, you will get 1 question. That you need to design from scratch. Okay, so this is one proper CLSA question where you will have to design basically application solution for a proper scenario. Okay. Earlier there used to be 3 questions and then there used to be 2 questions, but currently for last 1 year, it is 1 question based. Okay. And probably it will continue in 23 as well. Okay. I mean, up to 8.8, the current version that is running and the current exam that they are sending over to the people who are attempting, it's 1 question. Okay. And probably that's what we will continue. Anyway, I'll talk about the, even if it is 2 questions, then the other question will be probably an enhancement or a very small scenario, okay, which you will have to just design. You don't have to build that in your build. In order to pass that, you need to score 75%. Okay. So 75% is your passing score. However, if you score 60% or plus, but don't score 75, then you will be given an opportunity to fix your design. All right. So the the design is for 7 days. 7 days typically for the people who are basically native English speaker. The people who are non-native English speaker, they will be given 14 days time. Okay. So anyone who is born and brought up in US, Canada, Australia, or all these English speaking countries, you will have 7 days. But anyone who is born and brought up in countries like India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, or any other country, you will be given 14 days. Now there are often questions that, okay, I am born in India, but I'm residing in US or UK or Australia. How much will I get? Well, you might be residing in those countries, but you are still a non-English speaking candidate. So you will get 14 days. When you register for the exam, that's where you will have to declare whether you are a native English speaker or non-native English speaker. In fact, anyone living in the US who is hailing from maybe African subcontinent, Indian subcontinent, or any other non-English speaking subcontinent, they could they could also declare themselves as a non-English speaker if their mother tongue has not been English prior to moving to the US or UK. Okay, so that's the duration you get. In 14 days or 7 days, once you submit your design, they typically take 2 months, 2.5 months to declare your result. Once you get the result, if you score 75% plus, you are declared as pass, and then you will have to appear for the app build within the 30 days period. So they say that in 30 days, you need to start your app build. App build will happen on the same question. So whatever you have designed, the same question you need to build. Same scenario you need to build. If you score less than 75 but greater than 60, then in that case, you will be given additional 4 days to fix your design. Within the 4 days, you will have to submit. Now, this within the 4 days start within a month. What I mean is that if I get my result today and I score, let's say 62%, 67%, then in next 30 days, I will have to start my fix. I will have to communicate them that, okay, I'm starting my fix on this day, and they will give us a feedback of our original design, that what was wrong in that. Refer that feedback and fix your design and then submit within 4 days of start. Okay. If you score less than 60%, then you will be declared as fail. And you need to wait for 3 months and then to reappear basically. Okay. Any questions so far?
Hi, one question.
Yes, go ahead, please.
All right, so for the build portion of the exam, do you have to build it exactly as per your design? Or if you're in the process of building and you discover something easier or better, are you allowed to modify the build versus what you submitted for the design?
You are allowed to modify that, and you will have to document that deviation from original design. Okay, so when you do the build, along with that, you need to submit a couple of documents. For example, you need to prepare a functional test document. That's where at the beginning you can insert a section called deviation from original design, and that's where you can document those deviations that you did.
Thank you.
Okay. No problem. Any other question? Okay.
So this app design and app build will happen in sequence, right? So first thing
In
is
sequence. Yes.
you design and you send it, and they take like 2 or 3 months to like evaluate and answer. Then you again have 30 days to fix it, and in 4 days you complete it, and then you start the app build, correct?
Once you fix it, it will again go through the cycle of evaluation. If you pass 75% plus, then only you will be building the app.
So again, it will be another 2 months, right? Then in that
Correct.
case, like suppose it, okay.
Correct. It might take another 2 months to get the result. If your target is to not fail, don't fall in this category. Okay.
Yeah,
Don't fall in this category. Even if you get a fix, that's okay. Your result is delayed, that I understand, but you will pass because there were some minor mistakes, and you will look at the feedback, and based on the feedback, you can fix and resubmit and you will pass. But if you come in this category, then obviously you fail. You got to wait for 3 months and again appear. Okay.
So if they don't accept that fix, let's say they are expecting something else, will there be another chance?
If you get the app fixed, then that is the chance for you to fix your design. Okay. If you fail, then there is no other chance. You will have to
After
start.
submitting the fix, let's say we have got 60 plus %, and we are resubmitting the fix. If there is any chance that they don't accept that fix, they are expecting something else.
It doesn't work like that, okay? Because
Okay.
your design in principle was good. That's why you got 60 plus, right?
Understand. Okay.
Right? And there are some minor things and they will clearly send a feedback. When you start your fix, they will send a feedback. So there is no point that it will be something entirely different, right? Because you will be fixing your design based on the feedback, right?
Yeah.
Chendu, based on your experience, right, on an average, is 14 days sufficient or is it like really tight?
It's more than
Okay.
enough. It's more than enough.
We can do it on a, like while working, we can still do it, right? We have 2 weekends. We will be able
You
to
will
do it.
have 2 weekends, yes. Yeah, it's
Okay.
more than enough.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's talk about the build. Once you come in this category, 75% plus, you will be eligible for build. Build is 7 day, irrespective of which category you belongs to, in native English speaker or non-native English speaker, doesn't matter. You will have 7 days to build your application that you've designed. Situation remains here same, exactly same in terms of passing score, 75% plus. You are declared as passed and you will be certified LSA. You don't become certified LSA by passing this or this. You only become certified LSA after passing this page. If you score 60% plus, again you get fix, that is called app fix. Got to start in 30 days, you again get 4 days, same thing. You will have to start within 30 days of receiving the result and you will get 4 days to fix your application. And if you score less than 60%, then you fail actually. And you will have to wait for 3 months and start over from the page 1 again. It will not be like that you failed here, then you will again be starting from the app build. No, you will be starting from app design, the page 1. I mean, you will have to reappear the part 2 entirely. Okay. Any question?
Fees is how much? 500?
Sorry?
Fees?
600.
It was 600 so far. Now it is going to be 750. It is 600 currently. Okay. 600 USD plus taxes. Now it is going to be 750 from 23 version, Pega 23 version.
So what is this 23? It is like
Pega 23, Pega version 23. So
based on the year, this is
yeah, now they are starting versioning based on the year. Yes, earlier we used to have Pega 6, 7, 8, right? Now there was a conversation within the Pega that okay, it doesn't tell us how old basically technology is for any organization by looking at Pega 8, right? So they thought that let's name it based on the year so that we know if someone is in year 2030 and they are still using Pega 23, that means they are 7 years behind, right? That was the reasoning. So now the 23, I mean, version wise, we are going to have year wise version. Okay.
I got one question.
Yes.
And if we fail in app build, we need to start again the app design after 3 months.
Correct.
Okay.
You will have to start over the entire page, entire build part. Okay. Starting
Okay.
from design. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem.
How do we explain our rationale on the designs? So we'll just send them over a document, or will there be any sort of interview where they'll have to explain why you will?
Now, no interview will happen. So what happens? If you go to Academy, go to the training available and training, and you will see. Okay, let me just look that. 1 second. So it's all online now, and when you register for the exam, you will on the day of the exam when you start it, you will get question, and along with that you will get a format, design format. Okay, so you need to follow the same template, and you need to upload your design. They will tell you how to upload and everything. So design and go to view certification, and keep going down to LSA. This is the LSA. See, register for app build and design, right? So this is the portal. That's where you will register, and that's where you will submit your design and build as well. Okay, it's the same place. So see here, to answer your question about that build exam fee, right? So from the July 1st, it is going to be $750. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So they will give you instruction. Basically, they will send. So let's say that I scheduled my design on May 30th, 6 a.m. IST. So at 4 a.m., 2 hours before the exam, at 4 a.m. IST, I am going to get an email which will have link to download scenario that I need to work on. And the email will also tell you the instruction how to upload your design once you have completed it. So this will all happen. This will all be available in that email, all the information. Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Any other question, guys, from anyone else? Are we clear about the exam pattern, passing score, and obviously how to do it in the best way possible? That's something that we will discuss throughout the program. But any question on the structure?
Is there any way like we can verify if I have to take the exam part 1 once again? Because previously I have attempted this exam.
So on the
again,
same portal, you see the first thing is verify, right? So you can go there, click the verify button. If everything is in order, you will see that after clicking on the verify, you will see a message that you are eligible for build. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. You might, some of you might be already basically part 1 certified. I mean, not certified, that's not certification, but an exam that you have cleared, right? Maybe you have already taken the architecture exam, right? So architecture exam in any version after, from Pega 7.4, you are eligible. You don't have to reappear the architecture exam again if you have already completed in 7 or older version, okay? Then your entire focus should be on this page 1 and page 2 of part 2.
If we have given part 1 in 7.4, we are still eligible for
Yes.
23? Okay.
Yes. Yes, you are still eligible. But you are recommended to obviously go through the entire mission because a lot has changed from 7.4 to 23, right? So
Okay.
we are expected to use all the latest features wherever applicable from the platform in our app design and build. So unless we go through all those advanced um, or new features that Pega has introduced over the period of time, it will not be basically a good exam and will fail. So we are supposed to actually learn about what's new in every version, and especially the current version that you are going to take your exam in. Okay. So there is a microsite that Pega has published, which is called What's New, right? In every version. You can just search on Google what's new in Pega 8.8 or what's new in Pega 23, and you will see a structured topic-wise new features that Pega has introduced. Learn about them. That is very critical for your CLSA exam. Okay. You should be aware of, for example, they introduce, I mean, someone who has been working up to Pega 7.2, let's say, they don't know this concept of savable data page, right? The way authentication services now work, we don't have to go and modify the servlets. This is beginning from 8.4. It's no longer needed. Everything is PR auth. Similarly, there are several enhancements in terms of UI. So please parallelly go through those enhancements. That will be very helpful, and that is kind of not just helpful, that is must for all of us to know about. Okay.
And one more question, like if I missed that, so what would be the minimum gap between part 1 and part 2? I mean, how long this is?
There is no minimum gap specified actually. Okay.
So it will be valid if you clear the part 1, right?
Yes, you can clear the part 1 today and take the part 2 maybe next month or next year or next to next year. That's okay. I mean, anyone who is who has completed that in Pega 7.4, for example, 7.4 is at least 5 years back, right?
Yeah.
And they are still eligible.
Okay.
Earlier, they used to have some sort of restriction that within 6 months you will have to do and all those things, but that is gone now. Okay. All right. So that's it, guys. That's the structure we need to follow. I am going to be focusing on both the aspect. Okay. We'll start with a little bit architecture, and then we will start with this, and we'll continue basically completing this. In this program, we are going to have two scenarios, two real LSA scenarios actually. Yeah, Pranav, you have a question?
Yes. So in the 60 days of training, like, do we have any structured, like 5 days for the first architecture and the rest for the app build kind, like pattern?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that.
Okay. Okay. I'll
There
wait.
will be, yeah, sure. Thank you. So there will be two scenario. One LSA scenario, basically, we are going to design 100% and build it 100% in the session, okay? And then there is one scenario that you guys will design first, and then we will discuss the design in the session. Build will be with you guys. If you want to build it offline, that's okay. So one end-to-end design and build, and one only design discussions. So there's one more thing. Someone asked that question, that how long typically it take, whether 14 days are enough or not, right? So let me tell you, if you know Pega, you understand Pega, you have been honestly working on Pega for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years or more, then it takes roughly 35 to 40 hours to complete the design. That's the time frame that it needs in order to complete the design. Okay. If you're well versed, I've seen people sometimes, obviously you don't have much development experience, or you have been mostly on the support project. So this might vary. Of course, everyone have their own way of doing, their own pace, their own experience, their own basically situation. But typically, who normally is a good resource on Pega, it typically take 30 to 40, 35 to 40 hours. And same thing for the phase one, phase two as well. It also is basically something that we can complete within 35 to 40 hours. Okay. So this is the typical requirement. This many hours you will have to spend. Now, our program is 60 hours. So obviously a lot of things we will be doing offline as well. So this is going to be an engaged program, engaged training for the next 6 weeks. You all are requested and expected to spend a good amount of time on this program to make it successful actually. Okay. So obviously design and build, this one we will complete. So anything that is repetitive, I will pass on you guys to complete that. Okay. Only repetitive things. Anything that is new, we will discuss and we will build, design and build it in the session. Okay. We will follow the same structure as well. We will do the complete design first and then we will jump on the build. Okay. However, we will structure our program in a way that we utilize our time efficiently. So this is how it will happen. Okay. From the theoretical part, I will cover the case design, data design, okay, and application design. Okay. So app design, case design, and data design. These three part of the theory I will cover first, okay, without touching anything in the page 2, part 2 actually, okay. So this typically takes 4 sessions, okay, 3 to 4 sessions. So 3 to 4 sessions we are going to have theory, okay. Once we are done with this, we actually can start the build design part, okay. Then we will do design. Design typically takes 2 sessions, 2 to 3 sessions, okay? Depending upon your participation, how people are participating, asking questions, it goes up to 2 to 3 sessions, the design, and then we start the build. I'm starting with a very recent question in this batch. This is first batch of 23, and the question that I'm going to use is something that people were getting up to last month. Okay, so it's a very recent question. The build will typically take around 10 sessions. Okay. After completing this, we will come back to cover the rest of the theory. And then while I'm covering the rest of the theory, it will again take 3-4 sessions. You guys are requested to design the second scenario that I will share. Okay. After completing the theory, we will jump on to the scenario discussion. We will discuss it and then we will reach to the towards the end of the program. There will be 1 or 2 sessions where you will be given opportunity to ask any other question. It is even outside of this curriculum. I'm okay to take that towards the end as time permits. Okay. And then we will conclude. There's one more thing. Please keep your notebook or anything handy. There will be a lot of guidelines and tips that I will be giving for the design and build during the session. So you should keep noting them down. You might also get a lot of questions while we are doing those things and you ask that you get the answer. So note that down. Those are important to be taken into the consideration during the design and build. Please make sure that you do that. Okay. Any question?
So everybody will use the local PRPC installation or
yeah, so that that will be basically a VM version actually, VM based because local host, the Pega personal edition has been discontinued after Pega 8.6. Okay, 8.7. So we don't have personal edition, but we will have VM version, VM based Pega 23. That's where we will practice. And that's what you need to use for your exam build as well. Okay. You will get all the information how to set that up. Okay.
Yeah, hi Mahesh. Able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi. So regarding the theory exam, right, for the architectural exam, so
Mhm.
you're going to give the theory, but for us to do the practice or to really see what are the different various questions, so just our LSA module mission is enough, or
That's
should we
enough.
go back?
More than
Okay,
enough, actually. If you cover that 100% and with deep learning, that's more than enough for CLSA certification. You don't have to
okay.
go here and there. Yeah.
So should we go back and look again the
Yes, you need to.
CSSA's? No, even
No,
the
no, not
CSSA
needed.
not required.
Not needed. Not needed. And not needed, I'm saying, assuming that you have been an active developer, you have been developing application for a few years and you are on top of that. Okay.
Yeah, but as we are going with new version 23, right? So the
You don't have to
concepts.
be very conscious about this new version, okay? 99% things are same.
Okay.
Have you worked on Pega 8.8 or 8.7?
8.6 is the one which we are using
8.6
right
is
now.
also okay. Okay, 8.6 is the only major difference is Constellation. Constellation is still not available for the build. Okay. I mean, it is
Okay.
available, but it's not suitable for build. You will still be building the application in Cosmos. So 99% things you already know.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
that's all.
Okay.
Hey, Mahesh, I have a quick question. This is Padma.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, I think I might have missed what the other lady was saying. When do you suggest to take the architecture exam? Is it at the end of the course or?
No, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to
Okay.
that. Sorry. So
Okay, got it.
architecture exam, see, I will run the theory part in this space, right? A few aspect at the beginning and few aspect at the end, right? Because I will have to utilize the 60 hours that we have in the most efficient way. And most of the time I want to spend on the design and build. This theory part is not a tough thing, okay? This is something you have already got there, published there. You just need to read it. So I will get you guys started, okay, with the theory today itself. I will cover the theory. We'll get you started and I will request you guys to continue to complete that. Now we are starting this this Monday, right? So 6 week, if you look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6th week is going to be July 5th, right? That's where we are going to come. You don't have to wait until this point. And in fact, I'm going to push you guys that once I complete the curriculum, maybe on this date, if we get 1 or 2 cancellation, maybe it will run over to the next week. But obviously, it will be completed well before the Friday, 12th July. Before that, this program will be completed, right? At this point of, I want you all to be prepared or preparing for build only. You should not have at back of your head a problem that I still need to go with the architecture exam. So here is the catch, okay? I'm going to cover the most important part of the theory this week. That will be completed, okay? Now, I would request you all to complete the entire mission, take the weekend, couple of weekends, by 10th. By 10th, you all should be completing your mission. And when I say completing your mission, it should be with 2 revision. So there has to be one deep reading. Deep reading means that I will go word by word in this scenario, in the, let's say, curriculum, and I will try to process them, their sentence, all the sentences, in a way that I understand the meaning of it. Okay, I pose a picture in my head that, okay, this is what it is saying. So I understood every aspect of the concept or the topic being explained there. That's called deep reading. Typically for the entire LSA mission, if I'm dedicating good amount of time, it takes 1 week to complete it. Okay.
Okay.
Will pop up in your head again what you've read earlier. Okay. Second revision should be more quicker. It should be 1 to 2 days. As soon as you have completed this, go through the exam. They have a practice exam at the end of the mission, 40 question exam. Go through that. See how much you score. If you score 80% plus, you are good. You can go ahead and book your exam and attempt as soon as possible. If you score 60 to 80, you just need to give a couple of more revisions. If you score less than 60, then look at the areas where you scored badly, deep read those concepts again, and repeat this process. It might take another week. So the point is that somewhere by 21st or 25th, we all should be able to complete the architecture part. Let that be done, so that when we end this program, our entire focus is on the part 2, the most important one. Okay. There's also one thing. The LSA architecture exam is not a very high scoring one. Okay. You will see 9 out of 10 people appearing for that will score less than 75. It's not typical CSA exam where people score in 90s. Okay, so you don't have to be disheartened. If you score 65% plus, that task is done. That's what you should be happy about, and don't worry about your grade, your mark. Your only target is to score 65% plus. Understood?
Got it, Mahesh. Thank you.
No problem.
I got one question, please.
Yes, please.
Is needed to revise the SSA material?
You don't need to. You don't need to.
Okay, right.
If you can, it's always an added opportunity. Actually, if you can, you can do that, but it's not needed. But someone who has not been an active developer for 2 years, 3 years, they have been mostly supporting, or I mean, they have been away from the development. It is advised to go through those things actually. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Part 1 architecture exam, is it available in version 23 from now?
Yes, it is. It is available.
Okay.
So obviously, all the people who have not done it, you will be doing it in 23. Okay. 8.8 is also available actually, but do it in 23, the version that you will be writing. It's better to go with the latest one, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I think we are clear now on the exam pattern. We are clear about the training program, how it's going to be structured. Any questions you guys have before we start the learning?
Just one question, Mahesh. You told it's recommended to use Cosmos for design, even though Constellation is available. We won't be using that. So, does Pega recommend that in?
There are 2-3 things that we need to understand. Constellation still has got a lot of problem. You know that, right? It is not fully functional yet. I mean, there are restrictions. A lot of things still don't work. Second thing is, for the Constellation, you need SDK. You need some other language and all those things. Pega LSA exam is focused in a way that you do not have an external dependency. Okay. So setting that up for the exam and how you submit that for the grading is going to be tough. Okay. That's why Pega does not make it mandatory to build on the Constellation yet. Got it?
Okay.
But once obviously 23 is out. We will review it again. But right now, my discussion, whatever has been with the Pega, it's still going to be Cosmos. But once they come, basically officially declare the exam, build exam, we will review that again. Okay?
But by that time, our training would be completed, right?
No, it will not be completed. So they will start from 1st July. Okay. In anything, if they are starting from 1st July, they will make all the declaration at least 2 weeks prior to that, right?
Okay, okay.
And our training program is at least going to be running up to 5th of July. If we don't have any, I mean, sometime for unforced situation, we might have 1 or 2 cancellation too, right? So that many days we will extend. So even if we don't have any cancellation, it is going up to 5th, then you will be 1 week into the exam phase. So we have enough opportunity to catch up on that. Okay.
So you will be covering both, or you will be covering Cosmos?
I will be covering the LSA curriculum, and LSA curriculum doesn't have constellation yet. Just a little bit introduction.
Okay.
Okay. It talks about the constellation, but it is not deeply rooted into the constellation. That's why I know that it is not going to be constellation. Okay. All right.
One
Yeah.
more question, Mahesh.
Hmm.
Sorry. So the 2 scenarios that you are going to cover is in 23, right?
23, but exam hasn't started yet. So where will we
No.
get that?
Okay, no. So based on your scenarios, or like it will be an 8.8 existing
It is
retired
8.8
scenario.
question.
8.8, okay. And because it is still on Cosmos, right? I don't think, is there any like major deviation between 8.8 and 23, or is it almost similar?
No, it's almost similar. There are some new features related to Gen AI and all that, but Gen AI and all those are not part of our LSA
Exam
program.
build.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yes.
yeah, you don't have to. It's almost same then. Okay. Yeah. See, scenarios are similar. It's just that what technology, what way you make it to build, right? Even if you look at the scenarios from 7.4, 7.3, those are also applicable for 23. Okay. Scenarios are scenarios. Those are business use cases. They don't change based on the version.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now we have set the stage, guys. Let's start basically our content. Okay. So there is first set of topic are related to platform design. This is theoretical, but it has less impact. And see, constellation wise, we just have introduction of constellation. Okay, a little bit, not much. Anyway, so this doesn't affect us right now. And since we want to utilize the 60 hours in the most efficient way possible, so I'm going to start from the application design. I will cover this once we have completed these two and we have started the build. Then I will come back and I will cover the platform design, reporting, security, and deployment and testing. Okay. But first two topic that is important for us to get started with the build. See, I cannot get started with the design unless I've explained you design pattern available for case. How do we approach the data model? We cannot start anything, right? This for any LSA scenario design, this case design and data modeling is the basic stuff and most critical part of it, right? So let's cover the theoretical part of that. And then we will come back and we will cover the rest of the theory. I will not leave any part, don't worry. But this is how we are going to structure it, okay? All right. So first thing first, we will cover application structure design. Okay. So application structure, actually, a lot of people struggle with that. And if we have, why do we really struggle? There's also a reason behind it, because not every day we build a new application, right? Most of us actually probably would have never got an opportunity to build an enterprise application from the scratch, to design it and build it a completely new application. Most of the time, what we guys do, actually, we start working on a project where an application is already built. We are just adding the features. We are continuing with sprint work and all those things, right? So this is important in that sense too, and could be a little bit confusing sometime. So whenever you develop or you need to develop a new application, what are the things that we should keep in our mind? How do we approach? When you talk about this process of building a new application, you got to have several other aspects addressed as well. What are those? For example, you need to look at what is the business goal and objective towards this application. Why are we developing this application? What business wants to do with this, right? There are short-term goals, there are long-term goals, there is a vision associated with every project, right? That is called project vision document. Now, until we were just senior developer or developer, we don't care, right? We get user stories, we design and build that. That's how we have been functioning, right? Yes, no, guys, come on, a little bit participation. I know for the folks in India, it's early morning. Folks in the US region, it's a little late night maybe. But please participate in those discussions, okay? All right. So we have been getting the user stories, we have been building. We never thought about that big picture. But now, as an LSA, you are less, less affected by the short-term goal and more affected by the long-term goal, okay? You need to keep in mind what business wants to do with this application. I'll give you an example. Let's say that I have been hired to build a customer service application for a bank, okay? And they asked me that, okay, for US region, for the retail customers, you need to build a customer service application, right? That's okay. I got the information I need. They will give me all the details. Where will the data come from, or how the authentic, all those business data I will get, I will build an application for the US customer, US retail customer. But that's not where an LSA should focus. The LSA should focus, okay, fine. I'm going to build it for the US retail customer. Do you plan to extend this application to a larger base? Maybe include the corporate customer in the US? Do you plan to roll it out to Canadian market? Do you plan to roll it out to Australian market? Because these questions, answer to these questions are going to shape my application stack. Understood?
Yes.
Right. So we need to focus on that. Then we need to also understand the people involved in that business process. Who are our business folks? Where will I get what kind of information? Who will be working on the application? Right? How will they be accessing the application? What kind of actions they will be taking on the application? That is another critical part. Then what is the data involved in the business process, right? Where will I get my customer base data? Where will I get, it is a banking or maybe it's an insurance company. Where will I get the policy detail? How will the claim be processed? Who will be processing the claim? All those data that is involved in that process, business process, I need to understand. And then I need to make sure that what is a reusable component. Is there already a Pega application developed for that organization? If yes, probably they do have a lot of reusable content already available. Some common integration, authentication modules, the branding things. So these, or if there isn't any, then I need to develop based on the vision of the organization. Are they going to have other applications built in Pega? In that case, should I go with should I create an enterprise application? Do I really need to set up a COE to maintain that? Or is it going to be my responsibility right now? Depending upon, of course, the vision and extent
basically extension goal of the organization. Okay. Right. So these are some important aspects that we need to consider in our application design. Now, when you get the scenario, you need to ask these questions to yourself by reading the scenario. There will always be a hint of that. We will see. We'll look at some questions. Okay. We'll see that how this information is available in the scenario, and we'll have to look at that and accordingly come up with a proper and most appropriate application stack for the given scenario. Now, we also need to understand one thing. Earlier, we used to have framework. Some of you might still be working on the application that is built on the top of the framework, custom framework, right? So prior to version 7.2, we had one restriction. You could not add multiple built-on application, correct? Anyone remember that?
Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
Right. But
Yes.
from that point onward, now we have the support for multiple built-on application. So since there was no support for multiple built-on application, we were extensively creating the framework. Framework means a structure that supports everything. It's a foundation of your home. It's a chassis of your car. On top of that, you build the engine, you build the body, you build the boot space, everything you put on the framework. What it means is the framework used to be an application that was built one size fit all kind of approach. Okay. And every implementation application, the end user application, was built on top of framework. Right? That's how we were developing that. So framework was the structure, template for constructing the implementation application. And every implementation application that we were constructing was built on top of framework. Implementation application means the end application that is going to be used by the users in the production, right? That's how concept was now. Now with the support of multiple built-on application, we have moved away from the framework. Framework has its own set of drawback as well. For every application, I need to put the basic things in the framework. That means I was continuously modifying the framework, right? I needed to test a lot of things. If I'm modifying anything in the framework, all the implementation application needed to be tested, right? So, and one size fit all doesn't really work. It doesn't give us the modularity. Now, with the introduction of multiple built-on application, we have moved away from the framework and we have moved towards building modular application. Modular application means build a small application for a specific purpose. Okay. However, in that process, because you are building everything for the same organization, you still need one application that contains the content or the rules which are applicable to the entire organization, and we call that as enterprise application. Enterprise application are meant to have those set of features which is applicable to the entire organization. Some typical example are authentication module. If you're using SSO or whatever authentication, that's probably going to be common for every application, right? Branding. How should it look from the portal perspective? What should be the branding? That is going to be common. Common data models, right? Customer data model, policy data model, I mean, based upon the industry, of course. All those things should be in the enterprise application. Common integrations, those all should be at the enterprise application. And then you build specific applications on top of that, and then you build more specific application on top of that. Okay. So this is how we should be structuring our application. Now let's talk about the same example that I told you, right? That we need to build an application for the customer service for a US bank, okay, for the US bank, I need to build a customer service application for retail customer. Now, this is my Pega application. 1 second. This is my Pega platform. I will have one enterprise application as well. So what is the best way of implementing the customer service? Okay, I know that this is currently being built for the US retail customer. It will be extended to the corporate customer as well. Now, corporate customers have different set of agent to handle them. They have different set of policy, different business rules. A lot of things are different for the corporate customer. And then I will be extending it to other countries as well. This information I already have. So how will I build my application? How will I build my stack? So what I will do is I will obviously my enterprise application. On top of that, I will have the Pega customer service. Okay, let me just name it. So this is Pega. This is enterprise. This is Pega CS. Now, what I will do is, because I'm going to touch upon the customer service framework provided by Pega, I will obviously use all the common things from my enterprise, but customer service is a very specific line of business, okay? And in that, we have retail and we have corporate. Retail or corporate, a lot of things are going to be common. Authentication is going to be common, branding is going to be common, probably 360, how we create the 360 in the customer service, that is going to be common. So what I will do is I will build my reusable customer service application for the organization. I will not directly build the implementation. I will build a CS reuse application for my company. And then on top of that, I will build my US retail. If need be, then I will build my US corporate. Okay, I can build on top of that other Canada retail or corporate, all those applications. So concept here is that I have a reusable CS application specific to my organization. Now I have done all the customization in the Pega CS in this application that is needed for my organization, which is common to all the implementation. Okay, all the branding related, UI related, process related, all the common features, any specific business process, I will build them all in the reusable, and that is automatically be available for my US retail, maybe corporate, right? Some other application, whatever it is. So this will be the most efficient way of implementing this. Any question? There might be customer dispute also coming in that will come parallel to this. There might be a vanilla Pega application that is directly built on the case management, the platform that could be parallel to that as well. That's okay. As many applications as I want.
So enterprise application is basically behaving like a framework, right, Mahesh? So why are
It's
we?
not. No, there is a difference. Enterprise is also implementation application. If we talk about the type, framework means that you need to, so enterprise means you have a reusable component only, okay, which is common in all the application. Framework means it has all the skeleton for all the application. Now there is a difference. Anything that is common in all the application is a subset. It's an intersection. It's a small thing, right?
Yes.
In the framework, what we used to do is anything that I need to build in any application, I need to first define in the framework. That's not we are doing in the enterprise, right? Because you will be directly using the director inheritance and you will have only one built on application.
Okay.
Yes, Pranav, you have the question?
Yes, Mahesh. So my question here is, so we already have an enterprise application as the second layer, right, on top of Pega. So why do we need to have the reusable CS application again on top of CS? Because whatever the reusable components, right, we can simply without the reusable CS, I mean, we can still
No,
customize for
you
the
cannot
detail.
you cannot customize any of the CS related application in this enterprise, right? CS related feature. Have you worked on the customer service framework or any framework for that matter?
Yes, I did have work on the customer service framework. So I was
So
thinking about.
no, I'm coming to that. So a customer service has a 360, right?
Correct, correct.
Now 360 definition is available in Pega CS, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So enterprise cannot modify or customize 360 unless enterprise is built on the Pega CS, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Now enterprise, I mean, I'm building one customer service application, but there might be 20 different other applications. Why do I need to include customer service in the enterprise when it is specific to a few applications only? That's not modularity, right?
Understood. Understood. Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
So I am creating, you can have as many reuse application as you want. Okay. So I'm creating for a specific purpose, only for the customer service implementation. I'm creating a one more reuse application. Okay. That will have, see, all the common as attribute or common features, which is global in the nature for the organization, they will all be in the enterprise, but anything is specific to the customer service will be there in this region.
Understood. Yeah,
Okay.
suppose if we have to include the company logo or stuff like that, we'll be putting that in the enterprise, and whichever are the CS reusable components, that will be coming up in the reusable CS layer, right?
Correct. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Mahesh, I have a question here. Well, let's talk about like UI kit and think Cosmos or React Cosmos. These kind of, if you want to place it right, where do you keep it?
That's out of the box. That will be under the platform. Okay. But if you do any customization, okay, it depends on the scope of the customization. If it's common customization, it all will be in the enterprise layer. Okay. If you want to customize certain feature from the UI kit or theme Cosmos for a specific application, you will do it in that application layer.
So,
Okay.
now the question why I got this is like we have a plan to migrate from 8.6 to 8. I mean, this 23, right? So we will be having a traditional UI kit as of now. So if you want to go to Think Cosmos, so we have to get this layer again rearranged.
It's not
because
about just the layer. Actually, migration from UI kit to Cosmos is a huge task. Pooja, okay. I understand you can update the built-on application, and you can use instead of UI kit, you can use Cosmos. But the architecture, underlying architecture is completely different. Okay. The rules are completely different. So all those case related harnesses or sections that Pega provides out of the box are different. Okay. So migration, Pega has been developing an utility. I don't know if they have completed it to migrate from UI kit to Cosmos, but that's a very huge task. You will have to analyze your entire application to see what are the out of the box rule you have optimized. Okay. You have specialized. So you will have to move them all to Cosmos rule first, and then you need to upgrade. So that's a huge task. It's not about just the application layering. Okay.
Okay.
For example, we have case main area, right? In the Cosmos. In Pega, I think the name was different in UI kit, but even if it is same, the case area that you have customized, we often basically customize those kind of rules. Okay, so if you migrate to Pega Cosmos, so your underlying architecture has changed, but if you have customized that from the UI kit, it will start giving you problem because a lot of things in the UI kit doesn't work in Cosmos. Okay. So
Yeah,
you
we
first,
already experienced that once when we moved from 7.2 to 8.6.
I mean,
But
you were still on the UI kit, then you face that
yes,
problem. Now, if you are moving your underlying UI architecture, then how much problem you will face? Okay.
but UI kit is still supported in 23 also.
Yes, it is supported. It is going to be there for at least another 10 years. Support. It's
Okay.
not available for new application though. If you are building a new application, UI kit is not an option. But for old applications, it is still going to be supported.
Okay. So these kind of arrangements we should not disturb when we are migrating. You mean to say we should keep the same layers. If we're having suppose Pega CS, if it is we're getting a new version, should we go and extend that also? Even Pega CS new version also we have to plan it. Suppose 23 for that
You
also.
should when you upgrade, there are two things that we need to consider when we upgrade. Okay, if we are using framework, with the upgrade of the platform, we often upgrade the framework version as well. Okay,
Yeah.
that is kind of hand in hand, because sync in the framework and platform version is very important. Okay, you do that,
Okay.
but you do not change the basic nature. Like UI kit is a very important. You also upgrade the UI kit version. You must have done that when you upgraded to 8.6 or 8.7, right?
Yeah.
So that we will have to do. Even for the Cosmos, when we upgrade from one version to another version, we upgrade the Cosmos version as well. But changing that from UI kit to Cosmos is very huge change. For that, we will have to do proper analysis, proper fixing, proper testing, and then do it, promote it to the next environment. So that should be separate task. So there are two things. One is called migration of the application, okay, from one structure to another structure. And one is called upgrade. This is not upgrade. Upgrade typically is referred when we upgrade the version, platform version, right? You can also upgrade the UI architecture version. In that case, that has to be treated separately. No, don't mix them all together. Otherwise, you will get a lot of problems and you will not be able to efficiently manage that, whether it's coming from the Pega upgrade or whether it is coming from the architecture upgrade. So do them step by step. Do the one thing first and then second thing later.
Okay, but as you see here, enterprise is getting in between your Pega and Pega CS, right? In this kind of situation, when you're going for migration, when you have Pega is also in 23, CS is also in 23. So you have to again build on, because you just directly move the application into the new version and try to see whether we have the conflicts with the 23. But this kind of layering is already established. You have been extending, you have so many versions of enterprise layers now, right? So all that, how you take care of it when you're migrating in this scenario?
It's simple. Just keep it the highest version. Highest version will always be applicable to or compatible with the latest platform version, right? So like when I'm upgrading this, for example, Pega US retail, okay? US retail is currently built on, let's say 8.4. I'm upgrading to 8.8, right? Or 23. So obviously first my platform upgrade will happen. Okay. I need to get the Pega CS version 23. Okay, then I will import that. And then all I will do is simply on my reusable application, I will upgrade the built-on application, the Pega CS from 8.4 to 8.23 version. Okay. And then
So
obviously I will,
have to go to the enterprise application and should point to the Pega latest version.
yes.
And same for the Pega CS, we have to go. Okay, got it.
Okay. There was one more question. Someone raised hand. Sorry, I missed them. Okay.
Yes, it was me.
Okay.
Yes, Mahesh. So in this current architecture diagram, right, there is never a need for the framework layer, correct? Because
No.
any reusable will go in enterprise.
No. Correct. So we no longer create framework.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I had a question.
Go ahead, please.
So, this Pega on the base layer, so you are creating enterprise on top of that. So, and then you have Pega CS. So, is this application meant to handle other tasks other than the Pega customer service? Because generally, what we have seen is
Which
you'll have
one?
the
Pega.
base. Yeah, so you have Pega CS, and then you have like you have spaces, right? You can build parallel applications beside this Pega CS.
Correct.
So ideally, what we have seen in our cases, most of the times is we have the Pega base layer. On top of that, if we are trying to use any Pega frameworks, we'll have that on top of the Pega like PRPC framework, like main Pega.
No, framework framework, this Pega CS is obviously built on the Pega actually. Here it's not depicting that way. Okay. But Pega CS is actually not built on the enterprise. Okay.
Yeah, that
Actually,
is what my question is. So enterprise should be on top of CS, right?
No, yes, actually, I just try to make it simple. So this is how it is. Let's say this is Pega, right? Then this is your enterprise. This is your enterprise, okay? Now, this will be your Pega CS or any framework that will be built directly on top of Pega, okay? And then when I build my reusable CS, that will be overlapping that. So Pega CS will be built on Pega, enterprise will be built on Pega. When I build my reusable, that will be built on Pega CS and my enterprise. Okay. Got it?
Okay, but I think like you are building the enterprise. What you mean by enterprise is the organization level rules, whatever will be applicable,
Correct.
will be kind of available on top of the applications that we are building. But
Correct.
now let's say something is built on this so Pega CS. This something if you are building on enterprise, so will that get it like?
What will get it? So anything that you have in the enterprise is available to your CS reusables. This is my enterprise application. Okay. This is my enterprise. This is my reusable CS. Okay. This is my US retail. So my US retail will be built on the reusable CS. Reusable CS is already built on the Pega CS and enterprise. Okay. This might be my other case management application. Okay. CMI. Any other application that will directly be built on the Pega enterprise, organization's enterprise application. So anything you have in this enterprise is automatically available to all the applications.
Okay, so you mean to say this CM app does not have any dependency or kind of it is not concerned with the Pega CS, so we just built on
It is
top of
not.
enterprise, and
Yes.
this one reusable CS will be built on top of both the dependent applications will be both CS and enterprise.
Correct.
Okay.
Mahesh, one question. When it comes to retail or corporate, right? Shouldn't it be like just retail and corporate, and we'll have one more layer for US or Canada?
It
Or it
depends.
will be
It depends a lot of things, other things. Okay. Are the business rules completely different? In that case, probably I will create a US CS and then global CS, something like that as well. Okay. But right now I'm focusing that business rules is typically similar. I mean, I do not want to represent multiple applications to confuse you. Okay. But that's where you will have to consider the other form of specialization. Is the US rule completely different than that of Canadian? In that case, you will probably create one US specific, and then one Canada, and then you will divide it into retail or corporate, or maybe you will combine the
It's
retail.
based on the visibility of the requirements.
Exactly. All right. Now, another important concept for us as an LSA is concept of micro journey. Okay. Micro journey is a terminology that you might be now hearing every now and there. Earlier, it used to be mostly limited to micro journey to CDH projects, right? Anyone who has worked on the CDH, marketing or decisioning?
I've worked on it.
Okay. So you might have heard about journey, right? Customer journey.
Yeah.
Right. So the concept comes from the same place, but now it's more in the general use. So there are two concepts. One is called journey, one is called micro journey. Journey means it is from the perspective of the business and customer. It's not about technology. It's about the business of the organization and how customers are associated with that. That's what really matters there. So for a bank, a journey for a customer starts the day customer becomes the customer of that bank. Okay. The day I buy the very first credit card, or I open the very first account into XYZ bank, I become their customer. My journey starts with them. Or for the business, one more customer journey started basically the day I first got associated with that bank, and this journey will continue until I am their customer. Okay. Now, this is very broad. Okay, this is very broad concept. A little bit limited version of this is what we implement in CDH. Okay. Then what is the concept of micro journey? As the name suggests, of course, it is part of the journey. It's a micro journey. So when I became the customer of the bank, until the time I am still their customer, I will be taking several services from that bank. In fact, when I first took the service, I also utilized some specific service, right? I might have taken the first credit card. I might have applied for it. I might have taken the first loan with them. I might have applied for it. I've opened one saving account with them, whatever it is, right? So those individual processes for a specific service are called micro journey. Credit card application process and granting of that is micro journey. Applying for a loan is a micro journey, the complete process of the loan. Okay. Opening a saving account end to end is a micro journey. So these micro journeys actually, if we talk about the definition of it, so this is an end-to-end business process that produces a result, and it has a life cycle. That is the definition of micro journey. End-to-end business process which produces a end result, and has a life cycle. Now, some of you might be wondering, what is life cycle? Can anyone tell me what is life cycle?
So is it pretty much like synonymous with the case type?
It's pretty much synonymous with the case type. However, case type is a limited version of the micro journey. One micro journey could
Any
have
business outcome, basically. So
that
journey.
has yes, a complete business process that produces an outcome. But what is life cycle?
Anything that goes in phases, like let's take an application, will go in different phases where we analyze, then design, and then build, and then we deploy, right? So let's say take any journey, it will have some starting and ending point where we go through some process.
Correct. You're right. Any other way of mentioning that? Stating the same thing. So see, identified very correctly that it goes through the phases, right? When I say it goes through the pages, means that its status changes over the period of time. That's also an important feature, right? See, life is taken from living's life, right? An animal or we as a human, we have a life. Why do we call to have a life? Because if you look at a human life, how does it translates to different stages? Okay, we are born one day, right? We are called infant, newborn basically. Um, our parents take care of us. Then we grow a little older and we become adult, right? Um, then we interact with our friend circle and various other people. We grow a little more older, we become young. Basically, we get married, we have spouses, we start having children, typically, and then we grow more older. We come into those phase of 40s, 45s. Then we become more older, and we are called old people, and then we die one day, right? In this entire process, we are interacting with different stakeholders, starting with our parent and finally probably ending with our children or grandchildren, right? We also in between interact with our friend circle, with our spouses, and a lot of other important people who actually affect our life, right? One way or other way. So this is called life. So any business process that starts and has a tag called a status, and then it goes into different statuses, and it is being actioned about or affected about or informed. It is informing to different stakeholder. Is said to have a life cycle. Any process that is following that. Okay. For example, when I apply for a home loan, when I start submitting the application, the status is that it's a new application not submitted yet. Once I submit it after completing all the documentation and providing all the details, it is said to be in process or pending for the review or pending for the document verification, whatever it is. Then someone from the document verification team or review team will review it and they will provide their feedback. It will go to the credit check department, right? So they will action on it. So status will also move until it is accepted or rejected, right? Whatever it is. So any business process that has this kind of feature and it produces an end result is called micro journey. Exact same definition is for the case type as well. The only thing is the case type is a little bit more smaller in the scope than the micro journey. Micro journey is managing end to end. So if I talk about credit card, so case type would be just the application of credit card and approving and rejecting case type will end there. Micro journey will continue until I'm using the case type, credit card. So in the credit card micro journey, there will be one more case type or to handle the dispute. There will be one more case type to handle maybe request for transaction adjustment or whatever it is. But it is all the credit card micro journey dealing with the same feature. Are you guys getting what I'm trying to say? The differentiation between the case type and micro journey. They are all end-to-end dealing with the case type, but dealing with the credit card. But credit card micro journey is basically an umbrella of all the feature related to credit card. But case types are basically the business processes dealing with one feature of the credit card. Got it?
So can that say like a micro journey can consist of multiple case types?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
But that terminology is kind of confusing. It's a broader term, which it's an umbrella for different case types. But micro journey seems like it's a very shorter path, right?
It does like that, yeah. And actually, it is a shorter path if you just talk about in the sense of journey, because journey is complete life journey. Okay. So a customer becomes a customer, they take a lot of services. In that sense, micro journey is complete, rightly defined that it deals with a small piece.
So I think it's like each life cycle will be termed as a micro journey, right? In that
Not
case.
necessarily. Sometime one life, I mean, application applying for the credit card is also a life cycle, right? That goes through a process, but that's not a micro journey. It's part of a micro journey.
Okay.
Okay.
And Mahesh, one more question. So I was just thinking on like the last point that we had discussed, application. So generally, so application, let's say a implementation application will be built on a framework application, and then the framework application is built on like Pega base layer. So I was
Correct.
just thinking, can an application, implementation application can be built on two frameworks parallelly? Like it will be built on two applications at
Not
one time.
framework, you mean reusable applications, okay? Not framework.
Right.
We are not
Two
building it.
reusable
Yeah,
applications.
you can. It is happening in this example.
Yeah,
Yeah, same thing.
yeah.
Pega CS. Yeah.
This
Yeah, this
reusable
is
CS is built on two frame or two
right.
reusable.
But do we have an option to configure that in I like we have not used in like real time. So I was just thinking, like,
No,
do we have
most
an
of the
option?
real-time application work this way now.
Yeah, any frameworks,
Okay.
right? Example, like, okay, so even your organization, right? So enterprise is separate because we are building on the Pega, but we have a Pega healthcare framework applications, right? So that is not specific to Pega CS, right? So that is the reality. So that's where even example, like if you're supporting, that is how you build. Like Pega healthcare will be built on Pega, and then enterprise both like inherit the same thing, right? So like that's a Pega
Okay.
CS, the framework, all those things.
It's
Yeah,
very
you can
common
do.
actually. It's very
Yeah.
common nowadays. Okay. And actually, not just this. There are other examples. Forget about the framework. Now we are building such a modular application. Then, for example, I might build an application just for the credit check. Okay, just for the credit check. I will build a modular application. Then the same application can be used for the loan department, for the credit card department. If we are building different application for loan and credit card, the same credit check application can be used as a built-on, obviously along with the enterprise application, right?
Okay.
So we are moving towards that approach. It's kind of microservice-based architecture, okay? Where
It's like even you have component applications, right? It follows the same
component
concept.
is
Yeah.
different actually. Component is not an application. It is called component application, but component is a unique feature that is work pool less. It doesn't have an application work pool.
Correct. And
Okay?
what I mean to say is microservices concept. I'm saying.
Microservices concept. Yes, absolutely. And that's very good in terms of reuse, in terms of maintenance, and of course, these two are very important things, right? Your effort in building the application and testing the application is less with this kind of approach as well. Yes.
You're saying component application should not have a micro journey in it, or I didn't follow that.
We'll discuss. There is a component discussion. We'll come to that.
And coming back to that micro journey discussion. So micro journey is something which produces some result, right? Milestone.
End to end, yes. Yes.
End to end in the sense, like,
Means after completing the entire process and within the process, there will be results. There should be end results. Yeah.
So your example, that is credit card one, right? So applying a credit. The
So
entire
end
process.
result. So end result in that is that the customer has been given credit card and they have an active account. That's the end result. End result could be logical or physical. Okay, conceptual too. And now the company is getting business out of that credit card. That was the result, end result, and they are maintaining it. There are small other processes in there, right? Billing cycle and all those that continues to produce result. Okay.
Yes. So entire journey could be like to providing the credit card, and when we are breaking it in to other pieces, which is also giving a logical outcome, right? Milestone.
Those are case type typically.
Yeah, like for example, applying a credit card, that is micro journey number one. Then
Not micro journey. Within the same micro journey, it is one life cycle that can be termed as a case type.
Any example you can give? Again, I know you have already.
So credit card. Okay. let's talk about insurance domain, okay? There is one micro journey that will say dental insurance, okay? Now this dental insurance micro journey will start the day you will apply for it. It will continue until it expires, right? Now the outcome would be that policy was sold and completed. That's the outcome, right? Now, the very first business process that will be there in the micro journey is going to be applying or selecting and making payment to buy a policy. That will be first business process, probably a case type, right? Then there will be ad hoc case types. You could apply for the claim, right? Dental claim.
Right.
And obviously there will be a claim settlement process, and that will be claim case type. So two case type we can also see here. One, obviously, when you are purchasing the policy, and the other whenever you have requirement of claiming. And then ultimately it will, let's say I bought it for 1 year. The micro journey for me will continue for 1 year, and it will renew if I renew again. Renewal might also be a case type, a business process in the same application, same micro journey. Got it? So everything that deals with the dental claim, dental medical insurance is the micro journey, but all the individual process are case type or just one single step processes. Okay.
So, for the dental insurance thing, right? So you are saying that everything comes under one single micro journey rather than multiple micro journey.
Yes, they all come under one single micro journey.
Can you give an example where, like, I'm just trying to understand the thing. That's the reason I'm asking. So where a journey can be broken down in multiple, or at least one or two micro journeys, and that micro journey.
The day you become the customer of that insurance company, your journey as a customer starts. Buying and maintaining a dental insurance is one micro journey. You could also buy a car insurance with them. You could also buy house insurance with them. Those are different other micro journeys.
Micro journeys, okay.
Okay.
Now let's say about the car insurance you're saying, right? So that can be also broken down in multiple case types, but those case types will be housed under one micro journey that way.
Correct. Correct. Right. Yeah, Pranav.
So the question I have is, say if I have taken the dental insurance micro journey in our case, say if we have case types like cards, claims, and replace cards as our individual case types. If I have to reuse the same case types to another micro journey called, say, prosthetics or some other
That's
insurance.
technical thing. That's the technical thing now. Okay. How we implement that to be reused across the micro journey is business concept.
Okay.
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 Technically, how we are building and structuring our case classes and other things, that's a different topic.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that one component, one rule component from one micro journey cannot be reused in other micro journey. It's not like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For example, in all the cases, you will need to process payment, right? You could build payment as a separate application, use it as a built-on, or you can build payment process as a component application for that matter, and you reuse it in both application if they are two different applications, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes, Nathan. Nathan.
Yeah, so I'm trying to understand the concept of the microservice architecture. So essentially in the framework, right, we'll always build those case types on the framework application, and then we'll just directly inherit to the implement.
Correct.
So in the microservice is essentially the same thing you're saying. So essentially any case type that I need to implement is I would ideally create another application for it and direct and
if it is reusable, if the
Okay.
same case type is going to be reused in more than one application, then create it as a reusable application and then use as a build on both the application or three application, whatever. If it is one use, then why would I create that in two places?
Right.
Right. For example, address change. address change right now here, if you look at this, it might be applicable to the CS, and it could also be applicable to normal case management as well, right? In that case, I will build in the enterprise maybe. Or I might build a separate application for address, dealing with the address. I mean, depending upon, I mean, I'm just giving you an example of address. That seems like a very small thing. Probably you will not build an application, but it could be any other feature as well, right? So it depends. If there are more than one applications which are going to use it, then you can decide. Just two application also doesn't make sense to create two application for that, right? If this is global, maybe 3 application, 5 applications, and there are other application in the future who could use it. In that case, you should create it as a separate separate case application maybe. Yes, Srinivas.
Yeah, so this when you are trying to use built-on applications, basically, suppose it's like kind of a Java package kind of concept, right? Basically, suppose if there is a employee class and a
I'm not
so
talking about the classes at all yet. I'm just talking about how we structured the application.
no,
Classes.
what I mean to say is, suppose Pega rule sets and enterprise rule sets and Pega CS rule sets. So the moment you are in US retails application, all these rule sets which are in your built-on applications come under your profile stack, right? That is
Yes.
what. And when we say built-on application, are you going to directly inherit them, or you just use them in base and class and use them?
Just 1 second. Okay. So good point. Okay. You said whether we are going to directly inherit. It depends upon the use case. Okay. If you look at this one, US retail. Now this Pega CS has processes defined, case type defines, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So when I'm creating the reusable CS, I will also have those processes. For example, address change. For example, transaction adjustment. So if those cases are already defined, then I will have directed inheritance. Then US retail will have directed inheritance with the reusable CS, correct?
No, what I mean to say is, suppose there is Pega CS, like you have 3 case types. So without even in making my class group inherit from Pega CS, these case types would be visible in US retails, right?
And these are available, visible, but until you have the directed inheritance, you cannot reuse them.
Okay. So just take the example of Pega PRPC, like all the this reporting and all that. So what you're saying is, suppose if there are 10 rule sets of Pega and there are different classes, you can use them in US retails only when you do a direct inheritance with them.
Direct inheritance, that's when your processes will be available. Those are 2 classes defined in different rule set. That's what it is, right? In order to use them, you will have to have some sort of inheritance.
No, okay, like okay, only when there is direct inheritance. But like, suppose I'm thinking on lines of Java, like you say extend something, right? So that is the direct
That's the
inheritance.
extension. That's the
That's
extension.
the direct inheritance. Okay.
Yeah. So if I have, let's say in Java, I have created a method in this class. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to use this method in the class. It might be in the same code base on the same server. You both code are available, but you will not be able to use it until you extend it, right?
Okay. You may be seeing it, but you may not be able to use it.
Yes, absolutely. So in order to use it, you need to extend it. Okay.
There is only direct inheritance possible because, like,
no,
suppose,
there are pattern inheritance as well, but pattern inheritance is automatic. Okay. Pattern inheritance means, of course, based on the structure hierarchy. Directed when you need to, so it's similar. Okay. So you have your parent, right? You inherit from your parent directly. Whatever they have, you automatically inherit. Your parent inherited from their parent. That is called pattern inheritance based on, I mean, in our life, it is based on the family that we are born into, right? I mean, our rule recognizes that as well, that we inherit
No,
from your
that
parent.
hyphen should match, right? Because like you,
That's the hyphen. That's the hyphen. You are child of your mom and dad, right? Your mom
yeah,
or your dad was child of your grandparent, right? So that
correct.
that directed, that hyphen thing is called pattern inheritance. Okay. Directed inheritance is when you get married, then you also inherit from your spouse's property. If they are doing that,
Yeah.
that is directed. For that, in order to inherit from someone else's family, you need to establish a link.
No, my thought process here is like when you say work dash or work dash cover dash or work dash folder dash or something, and you don't have that work dash inheritance, right, in US retrace,
That's
right? Like
directed
basically,
inheritance. That's directed
yeah,
inheritance.
you can only use direct inheritance. Pattern inheritance sometimes you may, but it's not always. You can use pattern inheritance from your built-on applications.
Pattern inheritance from the built-on is not possible because those are two different applications. They will never
Yeah,
be.
that's what I'm trying to emphasize. Okay, thanks.
All right. So I think we are clear on these two concepts. This design pattern is the most important topic, by the way. And this is a little lengthy discussion, so we will do it tomorrow. Design approach. So this one is very important. Okay, so we'll cover that tomorrow, guys. They have
one question, like, so when you are asking us to create, like, do the LSA, this on available on Academy, right? Which version should we like choose?
23. Version 23.
There is already. Can you like show like once?
There is a version 3 available already. Just go to the training, do certification.
No, not this. Like I'm saying, training, training, and for the first exam, like the.
This is the mission.
Oh, okay. This is the mission.
Okay. LSA, lead system architect 23 mission.
Can just click that once.
Whatever I am showing you is also from this only. Okay. So you can continue from here. Pega platform, right? Enterprise architecture and all those things. Right now, what I'm discussing is application design. Application structure design is what we are discussing.
This is the exam you were saying, like at the end you take an exam and out of 40 if you get something.
That's at the end of
this is
it.
the one, right? This is the one you are referring, right?
This is the no. These are the content. These are for learning. This is the mission text test. Okay, now 50 question. Up to 8.8 it was 40 question. Now it is 50 question. Okay.
Yeah.
So once
Mahesh,
you
as part,
go ahead.
sorry, Mahesh, as part of the revision of the exam, like, okay, first we'll be doing a deep reading, and then slowly we'll be just going fast to just for revision. So should we go and focus only on the each mission? There will be some questions, right?
Focus
So,
on them as well. Complete them. Deep reading. Complete that revision. You can skip that.
okay, but and when you're doing revision, because I think those questions are only at certain missions last topic. So for revision, should we go again theory or just those questions?
Theory. No. Theory. Okay. Those questions are okay, but you want to revise the content that you have learned, not just the question. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing just to ask, how to download Pega 23? Like, is it any VM and available?
You can. I've already downloaded and shared it with Chandu. You guys can get it from him. Okay.
Is it a VM light version VM?
Yeah, VM Lite. By the way, it is available in the mission as well. If you go to the first LSA mindset, okay, and completing missions, LSA mission challenges, there here is the link. Okay, here is the link.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Chandu, just one thing to mention. I took the last training as well, like the version 8, and I took the CLSA exam, like the design exam. I failed. Because I didn't able to understand like the scenario. I got okay or very good in other sections, but I failed automatically because I mistook the scenario. I like we'll be covering those application design and those things.
I will be covering and emphasizing how to read the scenario. Okay, very important aspect. So we will try to understand how to give attention to detail, how to interpret it properly. And if you still have doubt, there is no harm to shoot an email to Pega CLSA journey and they will clarify you. Okay.
And one thing is like constellation is one of the important part right now, right? Like for
it's not one of the important part.
Okay.
Actually, it is not. For the CLSA exam, it is not. In your project, it might be getting importance and probably up to 1 year down the line, 2 year down the line, it will be becoming an important aspect, but not for the CLSA right now. Right now, we will focus to become an LSA. And in that process, I will also be guiding you guys how to explore the unexplored. So for example, constellation is unexplored or any other topic, Gen AI, process AI. How do we explore those things as an LSA? Because you will not get training on every aspect, right? So we should understand the process of getting the knowledge with the material that is available. So those are the mindset, those are the approaches that we build as an LSA. Okay. So we will be building that kind of mindset as well as part of the program.
So just asking like for you're saying for 23, like when we're like writing the exam, right? We're finishing of the application. That time, if we do not consider the constellation, that will be fine. It will not be that.
No, constellation is not, I mean, constellation is not needed for 23. That's what I'm saying. I said that earlier as well. Okay. It is going to be Cosmos only. But we will keep that basically in mind and we will review once they launch that build exam on that. But I don't see constellation coming as a UI architecture. It will still be Cosmos for the build.
Okay.
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 So this Linux Lite Infinity this is the one we are going to write the exam as well.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's the only option you have actually. The other option is that you could use the that version, the trial version, but they have launched 24, right? So I think trial version is always in the latest one. So that will be a problem and it expires in 1 month. So better keep this one, okay?
Any recommendations on the VM player, Mahesh?
You can use anything. I'm using VirtualBox. You can use VMware player or anything, whatever works for you. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Mahesh, like the one issue that we faced also earlier during a game, that is after 3 days later, that game has become something like that. Cannot.
I'm sorry, your voice is fluctuating quite a lot.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so remember, like when we were going through the Pega 8 versions training, like that time we saw, right? Like for VM, after 2-3 days later, the instance got corrupted or something.
Sometimes it happens with the VM. It happens actually. So that's why it is important to keep taking regular backup as well. That happens.
So you're saying like maybe after every 4 or 5 hours later, we should take a
not 4 or 5 hours. Whenever you do the major development, take a backup. It doesn't have
like
to be
from that from packaging one, right? So,
packaging one. Yes, your application backup. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Mahesh. Before starting the LSA course, do we need to complete LSA readiness assessment?
That is no longer needed.
Okay.
No longer needed. Focus on the curriculum. Focus on the LSA mission right now. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. So thank you very much for your time today. Let's connect again tomorrow. Same time, 6:30. Till then, you guys take care. Have a nice day. Yes.
Bye.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you. Yeah.